Hey, what's going on, everybody? I think it's recording. I didn't hear the little thing, but anyways, welcome to a new week. We're gonna go over the news real quick. We got news data coming in this week. Claim count change for Tuesday, GBP 1 a.m. right before London, and this is equivalent to, I think, employment change. Let's see, changing the number of people claiming unemployment rate benefits during the previous month. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on the review going over this stuff, but I am going to go. We're going to be prepared for these events, looking for price action patterns to primarily head and shoulders to finish off the samples to go along with these events. We're taking a lot of unnecessary losses on the demo, so we're going to get started at a different account. We have a lot of events coming up this week. Might be able to get in there and make up some, not make up, but make some profits off of this stuff if price action is starting to line up right. If this is all green for USD, they might look at, if they start turning out green on a different account, not the passive bottle, might start looking at getting in some longer term positions, because looking at DXY, we have we'll get to the charts in a second. Core CPI, all this stuff, AUD for Euro, USD. So not going to go over each individual one of these, but these are can cause a lot of volatility, so that could be good or bad. We could see a change in direction on DXY. Let's go ahead and go to the charts. We had a big gap on these JPY pairs. Also on the dollar here. So just right off the back, I'm looking at this like this on the hour. So we've been going off these head and shoulders patterns. They just happen to be, all over the place because of this right here. So you see it on gold because it was here on DXY. This pullback, this is on the hour, so this inverse head and shoulder translates differently. Like on gold, it's a head and shoulders because these are basically divergent from each other, going opposite directions. So also in the NASDAQ, when we saw, and we'll go over all that stuff, but I'm seeing this as potential head and shoulders right here forming, but going to look and wait for confirmation with the data being released this week, really to get a match with that stuff. So I'm seeing here, possibility we are right above a weekly support and daily support right here on DXY. So we exited the channel. Let's go out to a higher time frame. Get rid of this real quick. See that price action. So if you remember, let's look at the daily. We're reaching, has 4 hour resistance, and actually we're hitting some resistance right here and right here. We're right about that psychological 105 for the dollar, so I wouldn't doubt to see, just looking at technicals, see a pullback to this here, possibly. And let's see what happens. Something happens, we start getting in, a bunch of red misses for USD, then might look at, not might, but going to be paying attention to this as the events come out right now. So Friday we had, get rid of this, Friday we had a shooting star. So this is bullish. We came in, closed a good majority of this gap here. I'll blow this up just a little bit. So going right from the bottom of this wick, there's an imbalance right here to where those wicks are down there. So we got a daily fair value gap. We got a daily fair value gap right here. So, and also we just left the weekly support, daily support. Technically, you know, with this right here, this looks bullish, but looking at the lower time frames, it's looking more like we could see a head and shoulders right here. I'm sure if we pulled up the RSI, we would have some divergence. Also, this trend is here, so we got a pretty distinct trend right here. Boom, boom, boom. These right here. So we'll see how the data comes out this week. Just gonna be keeping an eye on USD primarily, but also observing the rest. So let's take a look. We'll see how everything played out last week, what it's looking like now. It's just looking at this earlier, kind of touched on this last week at the review when, you know, towards the end of the week, but there was a break here. We had a lot of rejection up here on the NASDAQ. It looked like it's going to go down. We had breach right here. So we had the structure right here, structure line. Broke down out of that. So you can see here, all across here, this wick right here. And so we had a breakdown, but now we're back up here. So we'll see what happens. Week's just getting started. Actually, probably need to take these. What I'm looking for, be looking for right here on SPX for the samples. We're taking them pretty loosely so far, but we've had really high win to loss ratio here on TradingView, but getting stuff transferred over to MetaTrader 4 just been, and I'll show you right here. So on this, we just been going like this and then just hitting lines and then switching. Okay, so like hitting whatever, sell or buy, and then not looking and putting the stop, not the stop losses, but the take profits. Hadn't been putting the take profits in areas where they need to be put. So that's another contributing factor. So figured there were, well, knew for sure there were going to be some areas that we could see where, let's see, risk to reward. So I was doing it like this before, and then just going like this, going up to 1.7, and then just boom, hitting it again, buy or sell, whatever, and then just going up like this again to the 3, and then, you know, going again without really looking at. So another way to do this is, say if you want to do 0.6% or whatever, lot calculator set up, you can move these independently. It's still going to have the same, it's still going to have the same amount. It's going down with it right now, but then you hit lot calculator. Okay, so you can move these independently. So that's what we're going to be doing too, to try to kind of curve around this. Because take a look at these losses here. We just watch, I just watched these hit SL. You know, just watched them hit for the majority of these. So pretty much the only one that was, I probably couldn't, you know, not that you try to stop it, but that wasn't an error, was AUD NZD. Now normally when this one happened, when market opened back up at 4 p.m. I think it was on Wednesday, Thursday or Wednesday. So around here, but so normally when that happens, if a pair isn't drawdown, this one actually played out, and the wick on TradingView was really close to the stop loss. So normally when that happens, market reopens and then the spread's really wide, we'll go ahead and take that and give it some room to breathe so don't get stopped out. But so this is really the only one, but as you can see are ones, 1, 2, 3. So these 3 right here, but then we also got these could have been prevented because GBP CAD, it didn't even hit the first take profit on here, but it did on TradingView. So could have saved, basically taken away all these and added 0.6%. So that's a big difference, just that one right there. But it's happened on Bitcoin here. You see it hit the first take profit, second it hit, like I said, but didn't hit. So going to be more precise watching these numbers right here and making sure they're lining up with what's on TradingView, and actually giving them just like a little bit more or less to, still going to be the same fixed percentages. So we're still doing fixed variables, still doing the passive model, because you don't know what the rest is going to look like until it's done. But with the way that it's looking right now, already there's about, I forget what the percentage was, but calculated it up to percentage gain on the account, we would have already hit profit target on it. So if but anyways, we're trying to see how effective is this when you're doing just fixed variables. Also, some other things. Notice another thing is the entries could get a lot better entries. Also, risk to reward, we're using quite a bit of risk also. And then with the first position being at 60%, thinking, and we've only seen this third one hit, I think two times. So maybe just doing away with this and doing like 85 1-to-1 and 15 at a 1-to-7, or not 15 but 0.15 to stop this, because when the first one's at 0.6% and say this hits target, okay, so 0.6%, we still have 0.4% because we're doing 1% per trade. Say it hits target and it comes down here. This happened several times, and it came like right to. This happened on Bitcoin, this happened on gold, this happened on several different, there was like 3 or 4 different times, but both positions go back and hit SL. Now if we were following the protocol and had moved stop loss to break even, then we would have walked away in the positive still, 0.6%, instead of walking away with 0.10%, a tenth of a percent. That's not ideal. And again, you don't know till you try. So we're trying like this. We're going to make a few adjustments without screwing up the numbers and see how it finishes out. But also going to be running another account. We have those events coming in this week, so we could see quite a bit of movement. We could see a trend change for USD. You never know. So going to make sure we're ready with a different account to start collecting on whatever happens there. But collecting information. So with this SPX, I'm not going to change the numbers right now. I'm going to give it a chance because we haven't even halfway got through. We haven't even halfway gotten through the sample size yet, but we're taking lots of losses. We could have had, I think it was put in the group, it was over 6%. I think it was 6.15%, and we're looking at 1.3. So, pretty big difference there. Some things that we're going to change, like I said, without changing the variables up, so we can keep the model testing the same, and then see what happens. But seeing the stuff hitting over here, just like this. Well, this one actually hit second position on the account, but didn't here. But anyways, that's why before in the group, I don't know if anybody saw, but I was looking for a way to go ahead and connect TradingView to, you know, whatever broker, prop firm, or whatever to a copy account. So you set up TradingView, and then you set up a copy account. So you set this up as the primary, and you set the MT4 whatever as the copy account, so that it copies whatever you place on here, so that we can have the exact parameters as we're looking at the chart here. When I got a different screen over here, it's not as large, so looking at the MT4 on that also, you know, sure as help contribute to. Here's our GBP cab. We got in this at the end of last week, and it played in favor for CAD for, I forget what it was. It's a red folder. Played in favor for CAD, so went ahead and went along with this pattern right here. We're stopped at around the 4 hour, not stopped, but we actually broke through this 4 hour support line. So we'll see how that see if that continues. GBP USD. Let's shoot through these real quick. Looking like we could see a pullback by the looks of things, but for full patterns. The head and shoulders have been pretty prominent because here we go right here because of the action. DXY, I mean, it's just the movement the dollars created, the pattern the dollars created. So that's why it's transparent onto, or you know, you see it transferring over to all those others. This could end up being possible. Towards GBP NZD. So this one actually hit the third target. I was looking at this earlier. This is GBP CHF. We're at the bottom of a supporting trend, but also sentiment is overall on the larger picture. Right now it's kind of bearish. Okay, we've been in a downtrend. We are underneath, or right at this support right here, or resistance, right smack in the middle of it. It's kind of hard to tell right now. But previously we were going down. This looks typically, I mean, these have a more tendency to break to the bottom. Just looking at price action, because this looks like a flag to me, or it could turn into a flag, so maybe a break down here. But also this miss right here on the last attempt up, it didn't come up. So what something like this could turn into, these patterns are literally everywhere. This could turn into head and shoulders right here. And really, I've seen stuff like this play out, and we've seen it play out several times, like in not ideal position, because normally you want to catch this stuff at highs and at lows, you know. So, or so we thought. So testing so loosely with the pattern, you know, and just doing the risk management, testing new risk management, seeing lots of stuff. So you see this head and shoulders right here. This was at a resistance level, so something like this would be more prone to play out than when you see the pattern already at the bottom of a downtrend. But a lot of times you see this as a continuation pattern. Daily. I'm just gonna flip through these real quick. Just wanted to give a pretty much like a just go over the news, take a quick look at the charts, and then get back with some details as stuff is happening this week. Right here we have nice, didn't actually get into this. I was looking for a break right here, got it right here. These wicks right here, you know, not a fan of them for, okay, so we got a break right here. We had this big wick right here at this 1 hour support, or resistance, sorry. Excuse me. think, okay, so this set, I'll wait for a pullback, put a buy limit in. If it comes back down here to where this entry is, start looking at getting better entries here. Or maybe even, we're testing this entry, the break, so it would need to be here. Wouldn't want to go putting a buy limit down here, because that's not what we're testing. We're testing the break primarily, but also looking at some more time frames at the retest and seeing how those play out too. Just going through these on the 1 hour right now. That's what we're trading off of, but in a little bit we're going to be going through and doing, higher time frames. Just kind of getting refreshed on everything. So we've reached the bottom of or near the supporting trend down here on CAD JPY. Pulled back up. There's that gap again. Didn't get into that. Here's this gap again. See, even here. Maybe this is on the way down. These third positions just aren't hitting all the time. There it did, but anyway, so that's how you do it. I mean, don't necessarily go in. Have to go in bare bones, like with such a dull edge, just trading flat up out of nowhere, but it does bring to light like how much difference it makes. And here's another option too, is to set the take profit, or the set multiple take profits on the single trade and place one position, and then do the automated trailing stop on the trade assistant. So that's something else we could look at, but not right now because we're not moving stop losses or doing that stuff. But we can set it up still as a passive, as passive trading with the trade assistant, because you can do automated trailing stops. So it takes a little bit more time in preparation. You have to calculate or measure the distance from the stop loss to where you want your stop loss to the entry, and then put that information into the trade assistant to start trailing at that distance, or to move to break even. It also has a place where you can have the positions move stop loss to break even. Let's see, this is another Bitcoin. We'll look at Bitcoin real quick. Also, XLN's been taken off. We were looking at that earlier. So this actually hit SL on the account. You can see right here, this is another instance where this would have clearly hit on TradingView if we would have had our parameters square. Not the third one, but move stop loss to break even after the first, and then this one would have hit, and then this one would have came down, stopped at break even, whatever. Or moves, actually protocol is after second take profits hit, then you move stop loss to, or we move stop loss to where the first take profit was. So whatever you're doing, when you're testing and everything, you want to make sure, none of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you what we know works after doing this for a while. Say for a while, for the past 6-7 months now, I guess it's been. So, doing this different kind, moving, having whatever you're doing, making sure that it's uniform. Because if it's not uniform, if you're not if you're trailing your stop loss, you want that to be uniform. You want it to be at least around the same, or we want it to be at least around the same distance each time, because that's going to give us a more precise answer as to what to tell us about the specific strategy or model or whatever that we're testing or we're trading with. But let's take a look at XLN. I saw some impressive gains. Looks like we just broke consolidation. Here's the inverse head and shoulders on pullback right here. So we just broke. It's common. Here it is again. So a reversal pattern, like an inverse head and shoulders at the top of an uptrend completed. This is more of a continuation, or is, I mean, this so a reversal would turn to continuation if it's upside down on whatever trend. So on a downtrend, if you see a head and shoulders on the bottom of a downtrend, we saw that on GBP USD and it played out. So anyways, let's see. Yeah, so we were looking at this and it was quite a ways down when we were looking at it at the beginning of last week. We're also looking at XLM, XRP. Here you can see it reflected here too. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break. Right here. Whoops. This want to connect where the head and the shoulder meet. So boom, this point right here on both sides. So here it will be right here. For some reason this thing isn't clicking too well today, but there's that. Anyways, that's going to do it for today. You guys, y'all have any questions, just drop a comment, holler in the chat, and we'll be keeping everyone up to date as the events unfold, as the week unfolds, and we will holler at y'all later. See ya.